Good evening and welcome, guys. This is the Digital Altitude Traffic Training webinar, and we are going to be discussing tonight, drum roll here. All right, now I just got to get the thing to work here. We are going to be discussing simple 7 steps to autoresponder sales sequence. A lot of people start asking me, I get a lot of students that have asked me, what do I write in an autoresponder sequence in my autoresponder, which could be GetResponse, MailChimp, Aweber, PT-Send. There are a few of them, other different ones out there. And so we'll kind of go over what an autoresponder is, and then what kind of content do you put on an autoresponder. So that is that's the topic for tonight. Let's see if anybody leaves. No one's leaving yet. So we're going to do the simple 7-step autoresponder sales sequence to write quick autoresponder email series that sells product and service on autopilot. So that is what we're going to be discussing. But first of all, for those of you who have not, I got to get in the right position because the sun is just hitting me in the eyes. Those of you who have not been on these webinars before, and for those of you that have, I'm sorry to keep repeating this information, but my name is Russell Armstrong. A little bit about myself. I'm a retired fire officer of 31 years. I have owned 11 successful businesses since the age of 18, and I currently own 4 online businesses, 5 if you include Digital Altitude as an affiliate marketer and also working for Digital Altitude. I've taught students for over 33 years, and I just updated my numbers. Currently, I've taught over 1,001 students and counting in the internet marketing world. So I've been teaching internet marketing and marketing online and so on for about the last 4.5 years or so. And but again, I brought my brick and mortar marketing experience and so on, and my business ownership and stuff, and that's what I've brought to the table here. So that's a little bit about me. That's the picture behind the voice that you guys hear on your webinars here. And I don't actually even have a slide that will show you what we have for the topic tonight. So I'm going to. That was this other slide here. So we do have, just so you guys know, we do have recordings, and I'm going to enlarge that there. I like to keep it in this mode here because when I turn it to the actual presentation mode, I can't see the slide coming up, and it just makes it a little bit more difficult to work with. So I hope you guys don't mind. It's kind of a little bit more unofficial, and this way then if I have to bounce to a website or something like that, I can do that easily without having to end the presentation and then start it again. This will be kind of a shocker to some of you that have been on my webinars before, because I normally do not do PowerPoint slides. But this was a presentation that I had put together, a very good presentation, I think, that I had put together, and so I just went through all the different things that I've ever taught and brought this one up because a lot of people have been asking me about autoresponders and sequences and so on. Okay, so real quick, what an autoresponder is, okay? Let's go back here. So what an autoresponder is a third-party software or company, and when you bring someone in to an offer, okay, such as Digital Altitude. Now, Digital Altitude, when we use the pages in our back office, which are the Digital Altitude capture page, when we use those pages, they end up in our back office. And what I mean by our back office is you'll see them as leads in your back office. So if you go over here, let me just move that out of the way. If you go over here, let me log in. I have 2 different accounts in Digital Altitude, so I got to log out of one and log into the other. All right. So when you log into your back office, if you go into my marketing and you go under my campaigns, this is where your leads appear. So it appears in your back office. So if you send people directly to your back office, this is how they will appear, and you will then have their email address, what page they looked at, what the tag was, and so on. And for tags and so on, watch the recording that I'm going to send you guys, whoever emails me. I'll send you a copy of the the back office basics webinar that I did. That was the very first webinar that I did, and it will navigate you around your entire back office. It'll show you where everything is, how you find things, how you tag, how you track, etc. So I will definitely pass that on to you guys so that you have it. So this is where you would find your leads. Now, what if, and that's where you're going to be using this capture page here, which is the standard capture page for Digital Altitude. Okay, so you would use your affiliate link, and that's going to put people into the back office. So Digital Altitude is going to be your autoresponder. When someone comes in as a lead, Digital Altitude is going to send them an 18-day follow-up series of emails to keep putting that offer in front of them, because not everybody buys right away. Not everybody buys right at the first moment. It was nice when I got into marketing way back when. I swear people, because I know I did, people used to literally sit there, I think, and browse the internet looking for an offer, and their credit card was tapping on their computer. They were just eager to buy something. And now I've been finding over the last couple years, people are more savvy. People are doing a little bit more research. They will find something that looks intriguing, but they don't buy right away. They want to check it out. They want to look and see. They'll go and search it on the internet through Google and so on, and kind of look at the what I call the good, bad, and the ugly. Are there people writing up reports that say, hey, this product is really good, leader in the industry, or are people writing reports saying, scam, 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 stay away from it? But people are nowadays, and you should, before you spend your money on things, you should do your due diligence. You should do your research on anything. Think about if you go and buy a car. You don't just show up at a car dealership and say, I want, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I want that car right there. No, usually you will probably see some commercials on it. Maybe you would read in a magazine or something some features of a car that really interests you. Then you're going to go to the dealership. Then you're going to, or maybe you'll even go online and see what some of the prices are for these cars. And then you'll go to the dealership, and then you don't just sit there and show up with a suitcase full of money and pay for the car. You talk to someone, you see if you can get a little bit better price. Two, you take it for a test drive, etc. All right, make them work on trying to sell that thing to you before you turn around and buy it. Now, maybe you were sold before you even got there, but you see what I'm saying? You're doing your homework, and you should. Anytime you're making a larger financial investment, which all of you guys have, at least you guys I know are at least a rise level or above. So you've made a financial investment. So, you did your due diligence, and now you're looking in, you've purchased into a company that now you're starting to promote, okay? So, again, that's the purpose of the email follow-up series. Now, what an autoresponder means, what it means by definition is that if someone puts in their email address, so they come here to a capture page and they put in their email address and they click on download, well, one, they'll automatically redirect over to the sales page, okay? But what happens to the email address? Now, what happens to the email address is that email, and I'll show you what one looks like here, okay? So this is why I don't do the presentation part, so I can bounce from screen to screen. I use Aweber, and if anybody wants information on Aweber, again, ask me that in the email, and I will be more than happy to give you information on Aweber. I think some of the top-rated ones are Aweber Aweber Get Response for the autoresponders. The one that Digital Altitude uses is called Infusionsoft. Infusionsoft is like the next level up. It's for the bigger companies. It's very expensive. There's Entreport, Infusionsoft. I think there's one other, and they are what's called a CRM, which is a customer relationship manager. They're a little bit different. They work like an autoresponder on steroids. All right, they're an autoresponder, but they have many more features to them. That's why, like Digital Altitude, big companies like ours, we utilize them because one, they'll handle volumes of people and they'll route people in specific ways. We can set up their accounts in the back and so on. Okay, so an autoresponder is just basically a way to keep in touch with your leads, keep them engaged, keep emails in front of them, and hopefully keep promoting the product to them. So the way it works is you go to an autoresponder, you create a list, and from a list you will, let me pull up one of my lists here. So from the list, you will you can manage your subscribers. So I can look at my subscribers here, and I can pull up all of my subscribers within my list. So it'll tell me when they subscribed, you know, what their email address is. Now, depending on the opt-in form, so you see here a lot of these say, you know, name unknown, and it's just an email address, and then it'll tell me when they subscribed. And the reason for that is because if I brought them in on this right here, this capture page is strictly just an email only. So if they went to my autoresponder, then I'm just going to have an email. There were some capture pages that I create that ask for a name and an email address. Okay, so that's how come the name will appear. But I can open up this person's information. I can see what follow-up series they have. I can see where their location was when they opted in. I can see, you know, what emails they have you know, viewed here, etc. So I can get a lot of information. I can apply things to it. I can apply different notes to it. You know, if I've made actual personal contact with this person, now maybe I have a Skype ID or a phone number or whatever, I can go in and add this data to my system here. Okay, so it has the basic information on this client. And I can do that with all of my clients. And in this list alone, I have 2,511 clients in here, or subscribers as they call it. Okay, the one thing that you do want to do in an autoresponder is, in an autoresponder, all right, so see, like I have one here. Anytime you go to, like in Aweber, they call them undeliverable. Anytime you have an undeliverable email, you want to click on it and delete it. Get it off of your list, because you're still paying for that email address to be there, even though it is undeliverable. And what's going to happen is it's hurting your open rate. It's hurting your deliverability. Okay, so you want to make sure you delete that off. If people unsubscribe from your list, what I do is when someone unsubscribes, the first thing I do is I mark all the names and I export the names to like an Excel spreadsheet. And then from my autoresponder list, I will then unsubscribe, or I will then delete them off. But I download them first. Okay? So it's just a way to keep a record of those people, and you can keep a record when they unsubscribed, etc. All right? And don't feel offended. People unsubscribe all the time. People sign up for umpteen million email lists, and they're constantly, I mean, I constantly unsubscribe to things. I think I unsubscribe to things that I never subscribed to in the first place that, you know, I'm still having to unsubscribe to. Don't feel bad if you're getting people that unsubscribe, because the name of the game is to get more people subscribing than people unsubscribing. And industry standard says that you're going to have at least a 10% attrition rate, meaning out of every 100 people you're bringing in the front door as a new subscriber, you're going to lose 10 of them, 10 of the old ones out the back door. Okay, that's an attrition rate. So every 100 you bring in, 10 of them out of your current members are going to be disappearing. They're going to be unsubscribing. That's just an industry standard. Now, if you're getting higher than 10%, you got to look at what are you doing. You know, either you're hammering away at your list or something, you're not connecting with your list very well, and that's why they're unsubscribing rapidly. Okay? So that's how an autoresponder works. So when someone lands in, when someone opts in to an opt-in form or a capture page, their information goes into an autoresponder. Now, the autoresponder will turn around, and from the autoresponder, I can, oops, see, I got to go to the right list here. I can, there we go, find a list here with a follow-up sequence in here. I can go and load up what's called a legacy follow-up series. Now, a legacy follow-up series means that as soon as they opt in, as soon as they put their email address in, or their name and their email address in, they are immediately going to get an email from me. All right? And then from that, the next day, they're going to get a second email from me. and the next day they're going to get a third email from me, and the next day they're going to get a fourth email from me. Now you can set up this pattern as any way you want to. So like I said, the first email they get is sent out immediately. As soon as they opt in and they move on to the video sales letter, their inbox has an email from me. Then shortly after that, so they get 2 emails in the first day. Shortly after that, they get the second email. And then the day after that, they get another email the day after. But you could set these up. You could do the first, 3, 4, 5 days, they get 1 email every single day. Then after that, maybe every other day. Then after another week, maybe they'll get one every third day. All right, you can set them up to where, you can have these automatically deliver whenever you want them to. Okay, and you set them up in a sequence or a series so that it doesn't matter if someone comes into your system at 3 a.m. your time, or if they come into your system at 12 noon. If one came in today at 12 noon, they're going to get email number 1 and then number 2. Remember, shortly after email number 2. But if someone comes in tomorrow, they're going to get email number 1 and then shortly after email number 2. So that's the purpose of an autoresponder series, is that you don't have to physically email them. They are they're getting it automatically with whatever you have set up. Okay. Someone's asking if we get the affiliate link after this webinar. It depends on if you are done with your business coach through the 18 steps, and if you have gone through your 18 steps, then as long as you've paid your affiliate fee, you should have access to your affiliate links. Okay. What is the opt-in rate and conversion rate with the sequence at the moment with Digital Altitude landing page? I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I mean, with the Digital Altitude landing page, if they're going into the Digital Altitude autoresponder, I don't know. I haven't tracked down that information. I know what it is in mine. It will significantly drop down because the problem with autoresponders, with any autoresponder, whether it's Digital Altitude's Infusionsoft or whether it's Aweber, GetResponse, or any of those, is we are constantly battling the spam filters. So Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, Outlook, any of those, we're constantly battling the strong spam filters that they have. So if someone has not added us as a contact, has not whitelisted us onto their email account, then potentially our emails will fall into the spam filter. And so hopefully people are checking those spam folders before they delete them out and seeing if, hey, am I missing important, emails? I check mine twice a day. I only check my emails twice a day. But before I delete out at the end of each day, before I delete out my spam folder, I just, scan through it real quick, make sure that someone hasn't accidentally slipped in there. And it could be an email that I receive in my inbox, 10 times, and then the 11th time it ends up in a spam folder. And it could be because of a word they used in the subject line or something like that, that it just picked up on the filter and sent it over to spam. All right, so you just got to tell your system again, nope, it's not spam, please put it up here. But your first email also should talk about not only introducing yourself, but it should talk about getting people to make sure your first or second email should make sure that people are setting you up so that you end up in their inbox. That's real important because the percentages of open will start to drop down as people start going through. If you're not engaging with them, you may get a 40% opt-in or a 40% open rate on the first 1 and 2 emails, and then maybe a 37%, and then maybe a 29%, and it will go down the further out you go, unless you're keeping your audience engaged. Okay, but there are some other things that you can do, and that'll be on a different webinar. Like with Aweber, I can do what's called a rebroadcast. So if people didn't open my email, then I can look at who opened it, who didn't open it, and I can rebroadcast out to the ones that didn't open it and try to increase those numbers. Okay, so I'm really not sure what the open rates are in the digital altitude system. That's one of the reasons why, well, I don't send a lot of people to the back office, but if I do, once they become a lead, I reach out to them personally as well. All right, so I let digital altitude do the work, but I reach out to them as well. Okay, hopefully that answered your question. Also, is DA going to have more landing pages? They're supposed to, but I have not seen anything as of yet. So there actually is 2 landing pages that they use. So there's this one here, and it's the same link, but there is a second one here. So it rotates between the 2 landing pages. So there are actually 2 landing pages, but it's still the same funnel. Okay. How much is the affiliate fee? That's $17 per month. Let's see here. This is email marketing, correct? Well, this is writing up an email follow-up series. All right. Access code is available through what means? All right. Access code. I'm not really. Oh, affiliate code. I'm not really sure, Ed, what you're talking about there. All right. Let's see here. Do you get one as a Rise member? I'm not sure what you're asking there. Guys, try to make sure these questions are relevant to the topic we're talking on, because it really slows the process down. When do you read broadcasts same day? Well, yeah, I mean, if I have, at the end of the day, I have people that haven't opened my email, then I got nothing. I'm not going to upset anybody if I rebroadcast. If they didn't open it up the first time, then and you can segment out the list. So you can only email out to the people that did not open your emails, and try to see maybe a different headline, maybe, or a different subject line will get them to open the email. Do we brand ourselves with our letters going out from Michael? I would highly recommend. People need to know who you are. If you're putting them into your own autoresponder, then you want to make sure you personalize them with who you are as well. Because if you just send out strictly, if you don't alter or personalize the emails that you're getting, let's say from the back office, the ones that are from Michael Force, the founder, then people are never going to know who you are. They're going to know who Michael is, and they're going to, because they came in on a program, or they came in on a capture page here. It talks about Michael Force. So then they put their email address in, and now they're receiving emails from Michael. Again, they don't know who you are. Okay, so you want to, personally, I like to build a relationship with people. So are your emails a copy of the email swipe templates in DA? Some of them are. Some of them I write all my own, but I try to personalize emails as well. Is that on top of the $37 a month? Yes, Teresa. The affiliate fee, everyone has to pay, no matter what you want. But you have to pay out that affiliate in order to have active affiliate links. So that is something you guys need to activate if you want to start promoting. It's a requirement here in the United States because we're a U.S.-based company. Everyone has to pay it. It's only $17 a month, but it is a requirement. We have to charge everybody. It's a non-commissionable fee. So if your downline is paying for the affiliate fee, you don't get a commission on that one. That's just a requirement by the U.S. We send part 1 and 2. Part 1 and 2 through email. Guys, again, please ask these questions in the email, okay? That's your branding name. I don't know what my branding name is. I don't know what you're saying. Would you create a bridge page before the auto letters go out? I create bridge pages in my ads themselves. So that's a whole different subject there. All right, first 18 steps, signed up with Aweber. What do I do to get the affiliate link? You need to activate your affiliate program. So go and activate your affiliate program. All right, guys, we're going to get back moving here because we're already now 38 minutes into the time and we're nowhere near finished. So, all right, so a 7-step email autoresponder sequence here. So first thing you need to do is understand the mentality of an internet lead. By the time you get to your tripwire, and the tripwire would be like the $1 offer. Okay, the tripwire is where people are coming into the system. All right, you've requested to receive what's called a lead magnet. Have they read it or used it, maybe or maybe not? Do they trust you? Again, if they're a cold lead, if you're going out and you're advertising on a solo ad, if you're advertising Bing ad, a Facebook ad, or anything like that, they most likely it's a cold lead. They don't know who you are. You're just putting an ad in front of them. So it's a real good thing to make sure that that you're addressing if they, maybe they've clicked in on that that tripwire that opt-in page, but have they actually watched that sales video? If you look at the autoresponder sequence we provide, the templates we provide for you in the back office, you'll notice that the video sales letter is brought back up over and over and over again, in case people have not watched it all the way through. All right, so you want people to get to the point where they can trust you as an authority. If again, you can utilize the follow-up series in the back office. Okay, all right, so you can follow, you can utilize those follow-up series. If you don't have that credibility yet, etc., then you're putting Michael Force forward as the credible person, and he's the founder of the company and so on. Like I said, you just want to eventually get to the point where you are trying to personalize that list. All right. So most tripwires have a deadline associated with them, and I can't remember. I don't think on. Let's see here. Go back here. If it's the step one, you look at the step one here. Okay, so they've stopped this clock. We actually got to get them to remove this clock here. It's to save 50%. A lot of things will be done with what's called a scarcity. So they will be, having a time deadline associated with something. It's called scarcity. So you want to make sure that hey, if you're offering this low price, it only lasts for so long, and the tripwire, Renee, is the $1 offer. That's what people are coming in on. The $1 14-day trial. That's the tripwire. Okay, that's what's getting them to get into the system. Okay, so if you have like a $1 to $20 offer, you want to make sure that if it's like references like a fire sale or flash sale, that you clearly have a definition and a deadline, and that you make sure that you will lose a ton of credibility if you do not end it on that deadline. Okay, because a lot of people will put like a countdown clock or something like that and say, well, we've only got so many of these, but if I check back a week later, the countdown clock is still going, and it was only supposed to be the next 3 days. So right there, you're going to lose credibility. All right, so you got to be careful when you're offering the scarcity stuff like that. Because it can affect your credibility with your people inside your email. All right. Oops. Sorry about that. Let's see here. Okay. So can everybody see this? Okay. I'm hoping. Let me enlarge those slides just a little bit more. All right. So in those cases, very easy to determine how long you'll follow up. You need to figure out how many follow-up emails am I going to use. Digital Altitude provides 18 follow-up emails for you to be able to use. So, when you are, so again, for 18 days straight, if someone comes in on the tripwire, the $1 offer, they will, or not even the $1 offer, just if they come into the autoresponder sequence, they're going to get 18 days of putting the offer in front of them. All right. The reason we don't go beyond 18 days, if you haven't bought in 18 days, you're most likely not going to buy. Okay, so you want to make sure that you figure out how many days you want to go out. I've had autoresponder sequences that have gone out 30 emails, which they space out over a few weeks. So like the first maybe week, they're every day. Then the second week, they're like every other day. The third week, they're every third day. And then they space out a little bit more. So 30 emails could take you like 50 days, 50, 60 days to get to them. And it's just, to kind of give them a little bit of a breather, but you don't want to wait too long, You don't want to space them out too far because, again, you're trying to build that relationship with them. If you go every few days right off the bat, you're going to lose them. All right, because they're probably receiving 100 other emails in their back office or in their email account, in their inbox. So you want to be careful of that. You want to, you'll do it as long as the offer takes place. So the autoresponder will work with that. So again, if you have something that says it ends on Friday, well, then your autoresponder sequence is only going to go to that point. If you have tripwires that don't have deadlines, such as ours, it looks like they've removed all the deadlines. They kind of have some scarcity that, the price may go up, but they don't have any official deadlines to it anymore. So, if it's like, example, an $11 ebook, you can justify giving away a free $5 report that's worth, you can't justify giving away a $5 report that's worth $500. That right there, just think of the logic behind that. If you have a report that you're going to give away and you're valuing it at $500 and you're giving it away free, or the $5 report is, just do the math on that. What does that do? That eliminates your credibility. Okay, it will. It actually will hurt you more than anything. Now, one of the things that you can give away, as like a bonus or something like that, that is, limited time, is give away some of your time. If you have some knowledge in the field, if you know how to now do some things, you could give away a one-on-one business consultation with them, or a 1 hour business consultation. So a 1 hour business consultation, let's say it's worth whatever you value yourself at, $97 for the hour or $127. If you're fairly new to the market, I wouldn't go starting to tell people that, your hourly rate is $500 an hour. I've been doing this for a while now. My hourly rate is $300 an hour if someone hires me, just to consult with them. So, you got to have some credibility behind it before you start charging those mega prices. Okay, but you have to show that something is worth value, but don't overinflate it to make it look really good. All right, make it more realistic. Okay, let's see here. There are invented reasons for the price point. There are reasons it's important to give one. If you've set a price on something. Just like what they do in Digital Altitude, the $1, the whole reasoning behind Digital Altitude's $1 is it's a 14-day trial. We're allowing you to come in for $1 and try it for 14 days. Now we tell you right off the bat, at the end of 14 days, you can either bail out or you're going to be charged $37. And that's the entry point. Really, $37 is the entry point. The $1 is the tripwire. The $1 is to get you to pull out your credit card and put in $1 worth of charge on your credit card. So one, we now know you have a credit card. Two, you're willing to spend money online, okay? Because there are people that will look online, that'll sign up for everything under the sun, but will never buy a thing. Okay, they're constantly looking for I don't know what, but they never will buy anything at all. Okay, whether it's $1, whether it's $15, whether it's $50,000, they'll never buy. All right. We're just trying to find out, are you willing to spend $1? If you're willing to spend $1, you're probably willing to spend more. So now it's our job to convince you to spend more money. So that's the $1 tripwire. And again, if you come up to a deadline for something and you go past your, if you give a reason, if you don't give a reason for a deadline, then you're going to come across as phony. So if you're putting a deadline on something, then you got to hold true to it, but you also have to give a reason why you're putting that deadline there. Just like, with our price point, $1, we're putting it, you are doing a 14-day trial. That's all we're allowing you to do. Come in, test drive it, kick the tires, see what you think of it, do step 1 and actually a couple more steps, because we'll reach out to you with a coach, etc., and start you through the process. You can get a feel for it in 14 days, and then you got to decide what you want to do. We're either going to charge you $37 to continue, or you can go ahead and hang it up and either just bail on it, or you can actually get a refund on your $1 that you spent. Okay, so you got to have a reason for whatever your price points are. All right, so typically you want a follow-up series at least 2 to 3 weeks from the time someone first sees the offer before backing off. And the reason behind this time frame is quality of follow-ups and quality or the quantity of follow-ups has to do with the mental state of your prospect. So you've got to keep putting that offer in front of them. There are a lot of people that will just sit on the fence and not make a decision. So hopefully with those emails, it kind of helps nudge them over the fence to the side of actually buying from you. All right, but sometimes you have to write emails, and we'll get into that here in a minute, that almost challenge people. You know, I mean, I've done that through like Facebook messaging and so on. If someone says, well, I'm not sure and so on, you know, they've seen the product, but they just can't, as I put it, they can't get out of their own way to make a decision, then, you know, then usually I'll challenge them. I'll say, all right, well, you know, you're right. I mean, this isn't for everybody. This is really more for the business-minded person, the person that is, you know, truly an entrepreneur versus someone with an employee mindset. And that usually is kind of a gentle nudge there that, you know, they don't want to be considered just an employee or an employee mindset. And so now at least they're going to come in on the $1. All right. And then some people won't. They'll walk away from it, which truly they have an employee mindset. They don't want a business. They want a lottery ticket. All right. They don't want to have to work for anything. They just want money to come into their pockets. And you will find people like that, unfortunately, but you just got to work through them. Okay. Let's see here. Was that one? Okay. Was their decision not to buy intentional, psychological, or did life just get in the way? For a lot of people, life just gets in the way. Okay. They were looking at a site. Maybe they found the site or they opened up an email or something that, you know, they were at work. They're really not supposed to be on their personal email. The boss was coming by. Boom, they click off of it. And they got another 100 emails in by the nighttime, so they lost track of your email. That's kind of life getting in the way. Or, you know, they were looking at it, but I'm not really sure. I got to take Johnny to school, and now they just get distracted and they don't come back. You know, intentional meaning they're just not interested in your offer. You have not sold them. They're not convinced on it. Okay, and the psychological, I think, would be more in the realm of, like I said, they can't get out of their own way. They can't make a decision on something. They're miserable in what they're currently doing. They want the change, but they just can't convince themselves to make the change. Okay, for whatever reason, they have their roadblocks up, and they can't get past their own roadblocks. Okay, it's not that someone is psychologically holding them back. They're holding themselves back. And that's one of the things you'll find, and if you guys have gone through those 18 steps with the coaches, those coaches are very good. They're not, I mean, they're salespeople, yes. That's what they're very good at. They're good at selling things. But what they're also good at is letting you sell yourself, okay? Letting you sell the product to yourself. They just help you enable to eliminate the filters, eliminate the roadblocks that you keep putting up in front of yourself. All right, so they're helping you psychologically through the buying process, okay? But we don't have that advantage until we get them to buy the $1 offer, all right? So you got to think of, you know, where is my audience at? Where are these people at? You also have to look at you know, this will depend on the length of your offer. If your offer is good for 48 hours, then you're going to email every day. Maybe twice a day on the last day. But when it's a long-standing offer, you won't have to do that. Okay, you can spread out your emails a little bit more, although I would advise first week that you constantly email once a day, and then maybe you can start spreading them out from there. Although our 18-day follow-up series is 18 days. So actually it's, I guess you would think of it as 17 days because you get 2 in one day, and then the other 16 over the next days. If you don't have a deadline associated with your tripwire, which is, again, our $1 offer, emailing every day stinks of desperation, and when I wrote this, you know, it does seem kind of like, you know, you're emailing, you're trying to get them to buy and so on. this is where, even if you do email every day, this is where, I've done email series that, one day is the offer. Okay, I put them in front of the offer again. But sometimes I've put in where the next 2 emails is more of just building a bond with them. I'm not offering a thing to them. Okay, so there's no links for them to click on. I may be talking a little bit about my life, to see if I can associate something with their life, etc. And that's where you start getting people to respond back. They'll email you back. So I'm like, wow, that was a great story. I really resonated with that. That way then you're connecting with that audience. Okay, the whole thing about it is, when you have an email list, and email lists are hard because, again, of the open rates and so on, it's hard to make a connection with people. And when you do make that connection, you need to make sure you hang on to it real tight. But the key is you got to make that connection within the first few emails, because the longer you try to get that connection going, the later the emails are, then the harder and harder it's going to be to keep that connection with people. Okay? Let's see here. So what do you say in these, what do you say to these people to convince them to buy? That's always, that's like the $1 million question right there. So subject lines are like truly the envelope copy in direct mail. So I don't know if you guys have ever received direct mail or not, but if it comes in an envelope, it's the envelope that catches your eye. It's the envelope that, and it's worked for me too, it's the envelope that I look at. I haven't even looked at the content inside, but it's the outside that makes me decide, am I going to pitch this in the round file, or am I going to open this thing up and look at it? All right, did it intrigue me enough to look at it? And that's where you're starting to get into the psychology of your client. Where did you get your clients from? Now, one of the things that I did discuss in one of the previous webinars on Facebook marketing is, I primarily do Facebook marketing, so I go after select audiences. These kind of emails are beneficial in the sense of if I'm going after a target audience, I'm going to gear my follow-up emails to that target audience. Okay, so if I'm going to go after young parents that are tired of having their kids in daycare, and they want to have more freedom, they want to be able to engage with their kids more, they want to have them home, they want to work from home, etc. Well, those follow-up emails are going to keep reiterating what my original ad was about, and that, kind of the pain points that I was dealing with in the ad. I'm going to reiterate those in the follow-up series, and again keep presenting what the solution may be for them. So that's really personalizing that email, okay, because it's fitting that specific audience. If I had if I was talking to retirees but put those kind of emails in, that wouldn't make sense to them, because the only kids they'd be dealing with is possibly grandparents or grandkids. Where you can also have more of a generic base where it's only product-driven emails, like what we have in the 18-day follow-up. So it doesn't really address the specific person, but it will address the what they were possibly looking for, is starting an online business, etc. That's what those emails will address with that person. So it is a little bit more generic, because it doesn't matter. It's not gender specific. It's not those emails, those follow-up series are not age specific or anything like that. It is more dealing with the product and getting people to make that decision. So there are many different ways you can write these emails. You can be more personal with it, but again, you can build up separate lists for all the different clientele that you're bringing in. Okay, if you have different age groups, if you have different genders, etc., you could literally write multiple follow-up sequences to meet those audiences, and you possibly will have a much better connection with them. All right, they are not just like headlines. Headlines and subject lines are similar, but don't do the same job. A headline's job is to get the first sentence read. Okay, so once they've opened up the email, the subject line is what gets them to open up the email, and I'm sure you guys have looked at that. When you when you go to your inbox, all right, you know, like with mine here, I mean, I can go to my inbox here, and I have, I mean, you know, I'm looking at here now. Or of course, a bunch of you guys have already emailed me to get the copy of the webinar, but you know, I've got to go through all of these headlines or all of these subject lines to decide whether I want to open them or not. Okay, whether they catch my eye or am I instantly deleting them? And I literally, and the thing about it too is that if you're not in my first 50 emails, then I'm probably not going to read your email because I only check my emails twice a day. So as I start to delete emails, then you know I still look at that. If you're not on the main page, then I may not read your email unless it's something that really catches my eye. If I go to my spam folder, and I just cleaned out my spam folder, but I'll go to my spam folder, and again I read the subject line or who it's from to determine, oops, that accidentally got there. I want to move it back over to my inbox. All right, so I don't. You know, you gotta open up the door to people based on the subject line. Here's some different, you know, here's the subject lines on the 18-day follow-up. So, you know, download your six-figure business plan, how magazines can make you millions, what would you do with $90,000? Now, why did they do this? Okay, if you look at a subject line here, why did they do 90 and then they put 0 or they put 000, and that's not a 0. That's not the number 0. Those are O's in the alphabet. Now, the reason they do that is because then it keeps the spam score down. If I replace those with all zeros, so it said $90,000, my spam score would probably go up to about a 2 or 3, or maybe more. All right, because that's what the autoresponder filters are looking for. Okay, and this is where we always have to work around them. You know, do our best to get a message across without. Now, this one here, I'm amazed the spam score isn't high on that one, and maybe because of the private invitation here first. I'm not positive, or maybe that was truly a mistake on their part. But you know, there are different things that you can do. A lot of times, $signs will bring up a spam score as well. That's a 0.7 spam score. Okay, but you know, different things bring up spam scores. The nice thing about like Aweber is when you start writing an email, it'll tell you your spam score. And it'll give you recommendations what you can do with the email to lower your spam score. The object is to get your spam score down to 0. And that still doesn't guarantee it won't end up in a spam filter, but it has a much better chance of ending up in an inbox. Excuse me, an inbox versus a spam folder. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go back here. All right. So subject lines are the purpose to get the email open. If your subject line is not impactful enough to them, they're going to bypass it. They're going to bypass. They're going to delete. They're going to ignore it. Whatever. But they're not going to open up that email. So the subject line is our front line. That is what gets people to open the email. Now, what you want to worry about, and I'm sure you guys have seen this before. There have companies that have gotten into big trouble for this. But if you I used to get these. Now I don't seem to get them as much anymore, but you know, you would get something. I would get an email in, and the subject line says, you know, thank you for your, you know, your PayPal order. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, I didn't order anything from PayPal. And so I would click to open it, and it looked like an official PayPal email, like it was not an invoice but a receipt for something I had bought. And it wasn't. I mean, you know, anytime to check out an email is you can hover over any links, and the link down here at the bottom will show you what that email is actually going to, or what that link is actually going to. And what it was someone was using PayPal's logo. They were using a lot of stuff to get them to click on other things. And so there are some solo ad providers, companies, and so on that'll do that because all they're doing is they're just getting people to click on the link, because what are you being charged for? A click. And so they'll do that. They'll turn around and they will you know, put anything there just to get you to open the email, and then they'll put anything there to get you to click on the link. But when you click on it, it's like, well, that's not what I was looking for. but it took you away. It took you somewhere that you didn't want to go, but they got their click out of you. That's illegal. It's definitely illegal. It can be up to I believe, $10,000 fine per email that they send out. But whether you can prosecute it or not, whether people turn them in or not, it doesn't matter. Anytime I got those PayPal ones, I guarantee you I turned it into PayPal. And they went after the people. That's probably why those finally stopped. But it's the subject line that gets people to open the email. If you can't get them to open the email, guess what? It doesn't matter what your email says. If they're not opening it, they're not reading it. So the subject line is important, but the subject line has to be congruent with what the message is, what the email is about. So you can't say, hey, you just won a brand new car, and then they get in going, hey, you should buy into this business here. It has nothing to do with one has nothing to do with the other. All right. Let's see here. Okay, thanks, Chris. All right. Let's see here. Rena asked if I would make a new legacy series for each audience. Sure. I mean, if I want to stay in touch with that audience, you darn right, I will. The other thing I'll do on all of my emails, too, is I try to get people gravitated over to like my Facebook and so on, because then I can engage with them a lot better. I don't have to worry about spam folders or anything. So again, on your emails down at the bottom, have your name, but also have, hey, connect with me on Facebook, and have the URL for your Facebook page. Have, if you have a Twitter account, have that there. If you have an Instagram account, have that there. Have different ways people can contact you. I put my Skype ID on my email, so if they truly want to get a hold of me, here's different ways you can do it. Now, I used to put my phone number on there, but now I use what's called a Google number, because people kind of have a tendency to forget what time zones are, and they don't, not that I know every area code out there or country code, but if I see someone's number and I'm not really sure what time zone they would be in, I'll Google that number and it'll tell me what time zone they're in. Sometimes people forget that. So if you don't want to get a call at 2 a.m., because someone, in Australia, it's evening for them, but it's early morning for you, then you can use other numbers. You can go to companies like, I have an 888 number, which is through Grasshopper. Actually, I'm sorry, it's an 87. No, yeah, it is an 888 number. It didn't cost me much money. It cost me a few bucks a month, but I can have it go directly to my cell phone. But during certain hours, I can have it to where it just goes strictly to a voicemail. And so I get a text message from Grasshopper saying that, hey, I just received a call, and then I can follow up with it when I wake up in the morning. I can follow up with that and get that person answered. So, there are many different ways. You don't have to give out your personal number, but you can use a secondary number that will route to your personal one if you want to put a phone number. But what that's telling people is, please contact me. Because again, sometimes emails is not the best way to keep in touch with someone, so give them other options that they can connect with you. All right. Let's see here. Figure out ways to get their eyeballs back on the offer. Getting them to open up your emails is the best way, and it must be relevant. Okay, and I said that before. Again, you can't offer that they won this free thing and they, won a trip to the Bahamas, and because most people are going to open that up going, wow, I just won a trip to the Bahamas. They click on it and it's like, hey, this is Russ again, and where did my trip to the Bahamas go? It's not congruent. It's not relevant to it at all. But it did get people to open, but that's what's considered spam. Okay, reference the promise you made in your lead magnet or opt-in copy. So if you're giving someone a free ebook, if you're giving them a free report, or something like that to entice them, and I know a lot of people with Digital Altitude even, we have a $1 offer, which is a small offer, but even in Digital Altitude, we tell you we'll give you a free report. All right, and that's what in the step 1 area, that's where you download the free report. So you got to go through the video sales letter, you go to the step 1, and you get your free report. Other people have used what's called a PLR, a private label right, and they've got, and They've gone out, they bought an ebook, but it's an ebook licensed where they can make it their own, and they can turn around and give it away, sell it, or do whatever they want to with it. So a lot of times people use it as a giveaway. So, you know, here to have someone become a lead, I'm going to give you this free ebook. And so people will sign up and they'll get the free ebook. So then once they sign up, they're on your autoresponder. The first email they're going to get is an introduction and saying, hey, here's the link to get your free download. And then they're going to receive another email that, again, is going to show them the offer. It's going to keep putting that video sales letter. So those are different options. You just have to have the capabilities of building your own pages at that point. But the whole purpose of what we're discussing today is you already have your own autoresponder. Okay, so you can do things like that. You can, let's see here. You can, here's an opt-in page here, and hopefully you guys can see this okay here. Let me see if I can get this a little bit larger for you here. Here's an opt-in page. So, you know, free online. Permaculture design course, world-class sustainability teachers. Here's what they do. They click here, and that'll go to the actual opt-in page. And if it's a free permaculture design course, and the page talks about renewable energy, gray water, rainwater, catchment soil regeneration, and so on, then these are some of the headlines or some of the subject lines you could use, because again, you're looking at what your capture page has to offer. Here are all these bullet points here. So here are some good subject lines you can use. Renewable energy miracle, advanced rainwater catchment, for true garden lovers, permaculture applications, regenerate and restore your property, gray water nightmare, garden soil regeneration. So see, you're taking the information on what is offered on the product itself on the opt-in page here, and you're creating a capture page. If I'm going to create a subject line for something, now some people do it backwards, or some people think I do it backwards. I will write the email first, and then I'll come up with a subject line out of the email. Okay, just like this here, they're coming up with a subject line out of the capture page here. So I find it easier, it flows from my brain easier to write the email and then read the email back and say, what would be a good subject line out of this email? And so that it's congruent. Because I find it, for me at least, mentally, it's harder for me to come up with a subject line and then try to write an email to fit the subject line. It's easier for me to write the email because that's something that's more in-depth, and then create a subject line out of that. All right, so that's one of the easiest ways I feel to create that subject line. Let's see, here's a question here. Should we make a new, oh, I already answered that. Yes, make it for your audiences if you want to. And someone asked the same question, so hopefully that got answered. Where does the sales team support come in when if you need help selling the product? Taupe, they come in at once someone purchases the $1 offer. Once someone purchases the $1 offer, that's when the sales team comes in. So they're the ones that reach out to them, get them started on the 18th step, and work them through the 18 steps, and sell them the higher, you know, from the base, rise, ascend, peak, and apex levels. Okay, and the auto respond emails already set up in the autoresponder. If you're using what's in the back office, yes, they're already there. So if you put people into the back office through the Digital Altitude capture page, those autoresponder sequences are there already. Okay, I can't remember what I was supposed to repeat there, Taupe. All right. Okay, so Taupe asked the question again. I just deleted it, so I don't remember what you had asked. Let's see here. How do you target specific markets, i.e. young couples, kids, etc.? The only way, Monica, you're going to be able to do that is in Facebook, so watch my Facebook videos, and it'll show you how to target those audiences. Very hard to do. You can't do it in solo ads. You can't do it in Bing ads, etc. You can only, that I know of, you can only do that in Facebook advertising, direct advertising. Let's see here. Oh, the sales team. Sales team works once someone comes in on the $1 offer. That's when the human beings kick in. The sales team. There's a welcome coach, an S1 coach, and an S2 coach. Welcome coach gets you set up with the S1 coach, gets you all your log-on information, gets you going on your 18 steps, starting with step 1. Then the S1 coach comes in. They take you from the first step to the 6th or 7th step, and then the S2 takes you, which is rise. Then the S2 takes you from the 8th step and all the way up to 18. Okay, so hopefully that that answered your question there. All right. Okay. Who closes the sales for me? The same sales team that closes the sales for you. So I don't, unless I have someone specific in mind where I've talked to them, then I'll close my own sale. But otherwise, it is the sales team, the same as everybody else, that closes the sales for you. And they're all on a rotator, and they're based on countries as well. So we try to match up coaches in the same time zones because it makes it more convenient for people to do their calls with those coaches through the 18 steps. All right. So they have. Let's see here. Where did we go? All right. So we had the subject lines here, different subject lines. They have already told you what's important to them by opting in. So what we're saying here is they opted in because this was important to them. This caught their eye. That's why, you know, this opt-in page sold them to say, yep, I want to know more about this. All right. So again, we have our subject lines. So they've already told us because, again, they've opted in. Sorry, I had to sneeze for a second. They've opted into your lead magnet. You need to use that information to connect with them. So again, writing that follow-up series based on this information or what's relative to this information, I wouldn't be bringing people in on this and then talk to them about digital altitude. Just like I wouldn't bring people in on a digital altitude page and start talking to them about you know, permaculture design course, world-class sustainability teachers. All right, it's you know, fruits and vegetables. It's not even apples and oranges. It's fruits and vegetables. The follow-up would not match why I brought them in. Okay, so that's why it's real important that, you know, when you're bringing people in, why are you bringing them in? How did you bring them in? And make sure the follow-up series is based on that. Now, if you look at the digital altitude capture page, okay, if they're looking at the capture page, the follow-up series, it is all about the digital altitude system. All right, and that whole 18-day follow-up series is all about this system. So it's always congruent with what you actually brought them in on. If you, and this is where people run into a problem. I have students that'll tell me that you know, they used to be a realtor, and so they have, you know, they have 5,000 people on this email list that were in real estate, and that's great, but for you to, you know, all of a sudden start sending emails out about digital altitude, a business opportunity, you're going to get a lot of people that are going to opt out. Now, you know, obviously, if it's a list of yours, you know, you can try to email them, but what I would do is write kind of a series of emails first to just start to, you know, asking them questions because they're already on my list. So I would now start doing broadcast emails or follow-up emails with them because they were brought in on something different, but I would start talking to them about, you know, have they thought of any business opportunity? Don't even mention digital altitude to them. Just kind of feel them out and say, you know, hey, have you ever thought about starting your own home-based business, et cetera, and then create a capture page that if you're interested to find out more, you know, fill in your information here. Now they're going to move from that list over to a list that they are interested. Now you can start introducing them to the digital altitude system. You know, you can't just move people from one list to another that aren't relevant with each other. Okay. Now I'll take a list that have come in from digital altitude, and let's say I'm going to promote OSP to them. I'm going to promote Aweber to them. I'm going to promote HostGator as a hosting account, GoDaddy to buy domains, different WordPress themes, or whatever. Now those are different things I can promote to that list because those are tools that they could use in their online business. So that's different. But I wouldn't start promoting to them, go buy condos or timeshares in Cancun, because it has nothing to do with why I brought them in. Does that make sense? You want to make sure that everything is congruent. And before you start emailing someone about something different that is not in the same realm as why they originally came in, you need to really be asking permission first. And what I do to cover my bases is, because I don't want to be accused of spam or anything like that, what I'll do is I'll start sending them out a series of emails just to start talking to them about it, but not mentioning companies or specifics, but I'm just kind of feeling them out to see if they are interested in something different, if they're interested in, have you ever thought of being your own boss, starting your own business? And again, I'm not promoting a company. All I'm trying to find out is out of the list of, 5,000 people that I have, are any of them, that were all involved in, real estate or something else. I'm just trying to find out if they're possibly interested. Doesn't mean that they wouldn't be, but not all of them will be. But that way then you're not spamming. You're just asking questions because they're on your email list. If they're interested, they fill out a form and say, yep, I would like to hear more about it. Now you've opted them into another list. Then you can gently introduce them to your product or to some other types of products, whatever kind of list you brought them into. You see what I'm saying? So those follow-ups would be written in that sense. But I get a lot of people that, oh yeah, I have real estate people or real estate leads, and I want to start promoting digital altitude to them, and I tell them to be careful with that because they could be reported as spam. You've got to introduce them and get them to physically opt in. That way then if they complain, you can say, hey, they opted in. They went from this list to this list, and they asked to receive these other emails, versus me sending out the emails that weren't important to them because it's not how I brought them in. Okay, so be very careful with that. You do not want to be labeled as a spammer. Okay, so good. Tope got that. When you get the people to the trial, I saw a 13-day autoresponder series. I did need to make another autoresponder list and physically move them and start running the sequence. Okay. So Monica, what did your original list come in on? You got to be careful when you move people from one list to another. And also, if you're a climber member, you get the actual 18-day follow-up series that is available to you as a climber. So just in case you did not know, as a climber, you want the 18-day follow-up. How long to sign up for? Okay, here, how do we sign up for? Just go back to the same link you registered on this webinar and you can sign up for additional webinars. Okay, so, all right, good. I'm just trying to clear out some of these questions. Okay, so it's not necessarily our personal code. No, if you had Mike Lee as one of your coaches, then that doesn't mean that he's gonna close on every one of your students or every one of your clients that you bring in. It's all based on where your clients are from, and it's a rotation. There are a bunch of coaches just to handle the workload. So it's kind of in a rotation as to how people. There's S1 and S2 coaches, but it's a rotation on how they get assigned. All right. How do you make sure my autoresponder is used? All right. How do I make sure my autoresponder is used, not the DA corporate responder, when using the original DA landing page? Okay, so Jonathan, the only way that you can do that is, one, use your own capture pages. So you have to have the capabilities of building your own capture pages. That way then they're tied to your autoresponder. Or if you're a climber member, you can still use the 18-day follow-up series, but be in your own autoresponder, because as a climber member, you can connect your autoresponder to the digital altitude capture pages and get that and transfer over that 18-day follow-up series, but the leads go into your autoresponder. So hopefully that answered your question. Or you got to build your own pages. Let's see here. That was in the Aspire Walker. I get the 18 days and use that on my original list. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fine. And some people do that. They'll just copy everything and then just put it into their own. Okay, that's fine, Monica. All right. Do you recommend signing up with Aweber now? Sure, you can. You know, there's Aweber GetResponse, PT Sender. There are a couple more out there. So if you want more information on them, just send me an email, Caesar, and I'll give you a link. You can go check them out. I think Aweber and GetResponse are pretty comparable to each other. So where do I find the email follow-up list? You're going to find it, if you're a Climber member, you're going to find it under what's called My List. If you are just a regular walker or hiker, you will find it in where it says, well, you go to My Links, and then you'll see the tab there that says My Emails. And there's a 13-day follow-up series in there. All right, let's see here. Do you have to call the phone sales team to close your leads for us? No, you don't. It's automatically done. As long as they buy the $1, then it's in the system. It's all handled automatically. All right. Jonathan, how do you do that? Jonathan, remind me on the question here. I got a ton of questions I'm going through. All right, here. So if someone clicks on the capture page and puts their email address, do they automatically get an autoresponder, or do we have to sign up for something like Aweber? Again, if you use your digital altitude capture page links, then they will, and they come in on that digital altitude capture page, one of these capture pages here, then they will go into the digital altitude back office, they'll go into their autoresponder, and they will automatically receive those follow-up series. Okay, so if you're using one of the pages in your affiliate links, the capture page link in your affiliate links, then it'll go automatically into them. Okay, let's see here. Let me shrink this down here. All right. Okay, so all right, Jonathan, you found it. Okay, good. All right, great. All right, so if someone clicks on the capture page, puts their email address. All right. Oh no, I already answered that question. Okay. How would I put Max VSL into the sequence in replace of DA's VSL? You have to create your own capture pages, Lewis. So you have to create your own capture page to put the Max VSL in there. All right, Aweber integrate. Okay, you found that. All right. When sending my very first email, should I tell them who I am and what I do for a living? Sure, it doesn't hurt at all. I mean, if you want to create an intro email before the 18-day follow-up series, you can. And then I would just, you know, every few emails, just put in a personal email from you, just so, again, they start realizing who you are as well. Okay, because the emails are coming from you. It's just they're not going to, unless you put your information on there, they're not going to know who you are. So hopefully that helps you out there, David. Okay, all right, so take a look at this opt-in page from Fusionsoft. So here is, you know, again, this is a pretty detailed opt-in page. Typically, you don't find this in internet marketing unless they're, you know, they're signing up for a course or something. But it asks for, you know, first name, company name, email, phone number. You know, how long have you been in business? So this is something that Infusionsoft is looking at. For you to sign up for their program, for their system. So they want to know a little bit more about you. And so they're giving you the benefits, the bullet point benefits of what their product does, etc. And so that's saying, hey, yeah, I want to, you know, I want a free demo of what Infusionsoft can do for me. So they now have put you onto their autoresponder. Okay, they put you into their system because you're willingly putting your information here because you want them to build you a demo so that you can see. Now, they could have very easily made a video with a demo, right? But by doing it this way, so you say, well, you know, I've heard of Infusionsoft, I'm interested in Infusionsoft. They do this page right here, and what they're having to do is fill out information, which then opts you into their list. And now they'll build you a demo, which probably they already have a pre-made email or a pre-made video. They're just now going to email you the video, is all they're going to do. But now they captured your information, so it's a very clever capture page there. So here are some, you know, subject lines for that scenario. Okay, so grow your sales, save time, get organized, How Andy increased revenue by 300%. 23,000 small businesses can't go wrong. Automated, all-in-one sales and marketing. Know when customers are ready to buy. Get automatic email follow-up. Sell online through e-commerce and shopping carts. So these are the subject lines they're using in their emails to show the benefits of Infusionsoft. Okay. So a sneaky trick: if you send out an email that has a really low open rate, you can change that subject line and resend it to the exact same, resend the exact same content that, and this is what I was talking about, rebroadcasting. So if you have people that did not open, if I send it out to 100 people and 10 of them opened, but 90 of them didn't, I can rebroadcast that. I can either send out the exact same email again, or I could change the subject line and send it out again. So the content is all the same. It's just I'm sending out a new subject line. So maybe the first subject line didn't catch their attention, but maybe the second subject line will. And if that didn't work, you know, now I've done rebroadcasts. I've done like 4 rebroadcasts in a row. So I've taken a 30% open rate and I've changed it up to like 48% because I've sent out three or four different rebroadcasts. So I've just changed the subject line. I haven't changed anything else because, again, we're looking at the people that did not open. So what makes people open? The subject line. It had nothing to do with the body of my email. It had everything to do with the subject line. So they didn't notice the subject line. It didn't catch their attention. They weren't interested. So I can keep changing that subject line because, like right here, we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different subject lines. So literally, I could send out the first email with grow sales, save time, and get organized. And, you know, again, 10% of my list opens up that email. Well, 90% didn't. So the second email I send out to the 90% people, I can change the subject line. So how Andy increased revenue by 300%. So I send out the email. So let's say another 10% opens it up. So now 80% or 90% of those people haven't opened up the email. So now I have my third subject line. So I could literally, if I come up with subject lines, I could send out 7 times if I wanted to and get maybe a 50 or 60% opt-in or open rate by the time I'm done, because it's just, you just keep going after the people that didn't open. It's time consuming, but if you really want people to open your emails, you know, the first step is you got to get in front of them with the right subject line. Okay, so there's something you can do. Now, this part is not automated. To rebroadcast, it is not automated. You have to do it yourself, but it is a way to get more people to open up your emails. So it's definitely a thing to do. And let's see here. So email 1, reconnect if you care about X. This is exactly how you'll do it and get that. Okay, so this is the headline to the body of the email. Okay, you know, so this is that headline I'm giving them, and then in the body part. Now again, remember, headline is once they've opened the email, that's the first thing they're going to see. So there's the headline to my email. All right, and maybe you didn't get a chance to read through the entire offer. You need to go, or you need to do that so you can get X now. All right. So you're showing them that, hey, maybe you didn't get a chance and you need to go and take a look at that again. Okay, and then you're going to have a link that's going to show them, you know, have a spot where they can go. So email number 2, you're going to show them again the benefits of your product, the product you're trying to promote. Just show them the benefits. Email number 3, you're going to explain the ease, show speed, the results, future cast. So, you know, and again, if you don't have results, show other people's results in Digital Altitude. They're all over the Facebook groups and so on. The thing you want to be careful of, all right, and this is one thing I'm going to tell you here, what you want to be careful of is that if I'm going to show, let's say I'm going to show an image that I found on Digital Altitude. So let's go here real quick. Let's go to Digital Altitude. Let's go to, let's see here. I got to find one of the pages. All right, so Rise Member Traffic here. Oh, no, that's one of my groups. Let's see here. All right, where am I at? Let me go. Go digital altitude. Let's go digital. Rise. Okay, maybe it's rise. Here, see, I got to remember all the. Well, here, let's do this. We'll make it easy here. We'll go to community. And let's go to Rise. So I've already joined the group. All right, so okay, so I come over here to the Rise page, and let's see here. So the first thing I wouldn't want to do is like here. I can never pronounce her name correct, but I wouldn't want to use her. Download her video and put it on my email, because what's going to happen is you may find that in your email someone's going to say, wow, she has made a lot of money, that is fantastic, and so then they Google her name, or maybe there's even a link there. I had a client, that one of my students, that in her Facebook page she shared things from other from like her team members, from her sponsors and so on, but they had links to those sponsors, and she shared them right onto her Facebook page. And the problem with that is that person can go over to that person and sign up with them. You just sent them business. Okay, so you want to be careful what you do share. But let's say you have someone, let's see here, let's just use one of the, okay, we got to find one of the Rise posts that, okay, so, and of course Michael posts, all the time, and now I can't find one. Let's see if I can find one here. All right. Okay, so let's say I use this right here. So I could grab this image. So you know how you grab an image off of Facebook, you just open it up. Oops, let me shrink that down. You just open up the image, you save image as, and so you can you could put that. But what I wouldn't do was I would go in, even if I copied this as as social proof, okay. If I copied this and had it in one of my emails, that's fine. But I'm going to go in and I'm going to use Jesse's first name, and I'm going to use Jason's first name. I'm not going to use everybody's last name, because again, someone in my email list that I'm trying to get them to buy, they could turn around and say, oh, Jason Stone, that name sounds familiar. So they go over here and they go to Google and they type in Jason Stone, and they search for him, and Jason Stone, millionaire mentor, home. Okay, so wow, that's Jason Stone. Okay, this guy's an author. This guy is on Twitter. This guy's on LinkedIn. This guy is, wow, he's pretty amazing. And so now they go here. They click on his product. It may redirect them over. We'll see he's got digital altitude all over it and so on. And so he is, they click on that, and all of a sudden they are signed up under Jason Stone. And Jason Stone should be thanking you, because you just sent that potential client to him. You see what I'm saying? So you never want to do that. If I was going to use this post here, now I may use this whole post here, copy the whole thing, but again, in the text area, so let me copy this. This is what I'm showing you I would do. So let me just open up a text pad here. I'm gonna paste that. Oops, now I gotta find my text pad. It's gonna be way back here. Here we go. Get that out of the way for a second. So I'm gonna grab my text pad and I'm gonna paste it here. And so these are the changes that I'm gonna make. Is one, because see, everything's gonna have a link on it as it is, and I do not want that. So I may just take this part, maybe I'll just take this part out, and I will take, this, and I'll remove the link to it, Let's see here. Share. And it's not going to allow me to do that. All right. So I'm going to take these people's names out, and maybe I'll just put Jesse, although that's creating a link there. All right. So let's go with. But you guys see what I'm saying? Actually, I probably should have just done this in a Word document. So, all right. So Jesse. All right, so 3 sales. Then I can take this one out, delete it completely, and I can put Jason. All right, so there's credibility there. I'm putting the people's names. I'm giving them credit for their sales, and Michael Force is here, and then I would add obviously this this image here. Okay, so it shows that people are it's proof. It's people are making the money and stuff, but I'm not giving these people. I'm not, sending people so that they can start searching these people and become a client of theirs. All right, that's the only point I'm trying to get across. If you don't have the social proof yourself yet, okay, then use others that are succeeding in digital altitude to show people that this system works, but don't use the full names, because that is going to it's going to hurt you in the long run. Okay, so just be very, very careful of that, because it will hurt you in the long run. Okay, let's see here. Go back to here. All right, so we're coming up on. We've done 1 hour and 40 minutes here. So, email 3 would again explain the ease of use, show speed, results, and future cast. Show your credentials, get social proof. Again, showing social proof of others is fine. So that's going to be in that 4th email. Email number 5 is build value, add bonuses. And again, if you guys don't have, like your own products, I recommend go out and find a PLR. You can go to companies, and now don't go to the monthly ones unless you're going to sell a lot of PLRs, but you can go to ones. I'll include a link for you if you want. I can't think of the name of it. It's like Master Resale Rights or something is the name of the company. I've been dealing with them for forever, but you can just go and buy a $3 or $5 ebook, buy what's called a PLR, which is a private label right. That allows you to alter it. That allows you to brand it as your own, and you can then give it away, sell it. You can do whatever you want to with it, but you could give a bonus. You could put it'll tell you what's its estimated retail value is. Or suggested retail value, and if it's a $17 book, give them a few different books, $17, $47, whatever they are. So now to get people to even come in on the $1 offer, you're going to give them $50, $60 worth of bonuses, and they get to keep those even if they don't buy, or even if they don't stick with the system. You see what I'm saying? I give bonuses to people to get them to go up to Rise, that I may give them a couple hours of my coaching time for free, as their sponsor, and that is, my coaching time is valued at $300 an hour. So if you guys wanted to go and hire me as a coach, it's $300 an hour starting. Okay, so but again, I have the credibility factor to charge that kind of money. I definitely wouldn't overinflate your rate, but even if you're giving them $97 an hour for your consultation or for a couple hours. And giving bonuses like that used to scare the heck out of me, because when I worked full time, it's like, if I gave bonuses to people, like let's say I gave them 3 hours of my time, and back then I charged $97 an hour. If I'm giving away 3 hours of time, and let's say I sold it to 100 people, that's 300 hours. When am I going to find the time to talk to 300 people or 100 people for 300 hours? And what a wise marketer told me is that most people think of the 80-20 rule. 20% of the people will take you up on the first offer for the first hour. 20% of those people will take you up on the second hour, and 20% of those will take you up on the third hour. So if you're lucky, you're going to spend, 60 hours, maybe, and you can spread that out over a period of time. So, and I don't even think it's that, it equates out to that. I mean, it's ridiculously low because it's the 80-20 rule, and it does hold true. I've given away a ton of bonuses. People will buy because of the bonus, the perceived value, and then they never use the bonus. How many times have you guys bought something because there was extra things thrown in with it. Not that you needed those things right now, but you thought, well, gosh, if I can buy it from Joe over here for the same amount and I just get the program, or I can buy it over here from Russ and I get these 3 other things that are valued at, $150 more, why wouldn't I go to Russ and buy? Even though you may never ever use the products I gave you as a bonus. But I got your sale because I had a valued bonus there. So you could do that, add some sort of value to someone, give them a 1-hour business consultation, 30-minute business consultation, something of value to them as to why they should take a look or why they should buy. All right. Then remind them or warning, if there is something that's time sensitive, remind them about it. If it's not time sensitive, but the price could go up, or there's a limited number that they're selling or whatever, you put that in email number 6. Number 7 is you're going to reconnect, use everything you know about them oops, sorry about that. Wrong one. All right, so reconnect, use everything you know about them to do that. If if not now, when would be a good time for you to get or do X? Okay. If they're not going anywhere, then, kind of find out when would be a good time for you to do this. Then write in your emails. So start at the beginning with your emails. You will have to choose one of the subject lines you created. Tweak that perfectly to fit actually within the subject of the email. Again, I do it backwards. I write the email and then come up with the subject line. Remember, you want to align yourself and your product and or service with your prospects. So again, that's where if you're dealing with a specific audience and you're writing those emails to fit that audience, you want to align yourself with that. Okay. You want to so your prospect will feel like you're on the same team with them, and you want to add to do that, you grab their attention. You talk about what you already know about them. So if I was again running ads and getting people to opt in that are moms with kids or parents with kids, a lot of my emails are going to be based on not only showing them the product, but the reason I'm showing them the product is so they have more time with their kids, or because again that's what my ad was based on. So those follow-up series can be based on that. So you've already made that connection with them. So then hold on one second. Okay, so write your emails. Now let this play out the same way. So let's move on to email number 2. Oops, sorry, touchy mouse there. Okay, so again, subject line was advanced rainwater catchment. Personalize them if you can, and then again, you're putting into the email body the part of that subject line. Okay, and that's usually within the first sentence that or the first paragraph that's on that email. Okay, and again, I write the email and then create the subject line, and that's usually where I'll pull it out of, is that first paragraph or sentence there. Okay, so so your email is reiterating the product and so on. Then you go here. Email number 3 is regenerate, restore your property. This DVD, and you go through that information. You'll be able to easily absorb, because again, remember what we said in email number 3 is explain the ease of use, show speed, results, future cast. Okay, so here we're showing here you'll be able to easily absorb the lessons within X hours. All right, so that's email number 3. Now email number 4. This is still email number here. All right, email number 3, X amount of hours. Email number 4, I've already predetermined that I'll focus on showing credentials, social proof, and chose one of my pre-written subject lines. So here would be email number 4. So for true garden lovers, and here is the information, in that social proof, that showing that others are using this. It's training people to heal and regenerate the environment while creating meaningful livelihoods and sustainable economies. All right, so there's that social proof. Other people are doing this. And again, showing either your results, showing other people's results that this is working for people. Okay, so that's your social proof part. Remember on email number 4, we talked about, show your credentials or show your social proof. Okay, so then email number 5. Let's see, that was email number 4. So email number 5. Don't spend too much time building up the value of this page offer. There's no bonuses. So I already decided to focus on the email and 2 things. So so we have the, permaculture applications. Why would permaculture design be necessary beyond gardening? And you have your information here. So again, it's just following these steps here in your email sequence. Start writing your emails to fit, from email number 1. If all you get out of this whole webinar is email number 1 through email number 7, follow these steps, reconnecting with them. Okay, let's see here. That was 4. This is 5. Okay, email number 6 is about a reminder or warning. If your tripwire has a deadline associated with it, remind them about that. Okay, that there is a sense of urgency there. So you're then going to fill out that information there. Email. Okay, so that was email 6. So email 7 is the easiest one to write. If you got a deadline associated with your offer, you can simply say this is your last chance to get your product. Get X at Y price. Okay. So that's kind of your last minute challenge, but again, you got to hold true to that. But that's your last minute challenge to them. Okay, so here, gardening soil regeneration, easy, and they have to, they have to get this done. All right. So let's see here. If you have to check, the key thing too is when you're building your emails and you're putting in your links, you want to make sure that you check and make sure that all of your links are working correctly. They go to the pages you want them to go to. Nothing worse than people receiving emails, they click on links and the links don't work. That is just hugely embarrassing, plus it just really tears down your credibility. So I'm going to go through some of these questions here real quick. I'm a RISE member, but still have 13 emails. Why is this the case? Because you're not. If you're a Climber member and you have your own autoresponder, you're not accessing my list. You're accessing my emails, and there are 18 follow-up emails in the my list. So that's what you need to go to. You're welcome, David. Let's see here. Found an email swipe. What do I put in this section? Click here. Hyperlink. That's where you're going. Again, what they mean by hyperlink means that you're going to. A hyperlink means that you're going to highlight an area, and you are going to put a link behind that highlight. So here, if you look at the follow-up series, let's go with this one here. Now, this is what Abe Weber's looks like. But if I open up this email, a hyperlink is like this here. I would highlight that. I can show you what the link looks like. So that's what the links look like inside of there. Okay. So on the email itself, this is what it looks like. So it just says step 1. But if they click on step 1 will take them to whatever link I want to send them to. So what they're saying here in that 13-day what they're saying in that 13-day follow-up series, where they're typing in hyperlink to your digital altitude link, you just want to put your affiliate link there. Now this one, so this is hyperlink here is going to the VSL1, which is the video sales letter 1. So you're going to go to your digital altitude and you're going to grab your video sales letter 1 link. So you're going to grab this link here where it says VSL1. So you're going to grab that entire link there, and that's what you're going to copy and paste in that location. Okay, so that's how you're going to do that. All right, I got 4 trial members. Do I put them in another list to give email sequence to encourage them? Monica, if you have people that now have bought and they were on your first list and now they've bought, yes, I do that. I move them. I create what's called a buyer's list. So create what you would call a digital altitude or DA buyer's list, and that way then they're at least a $1 buyer or above. And I would then go into your autoresponder and I would copy their information. I would manually put them into the new list and delete them off the old list. Nothing worse than pissing people off by continually receiving emails on something they've already bought. That's the sure way to get them to refund and opt out. So as soon as you get someone to buy from one of your lists, and manually move them over to your buyer's list, because your emails are going to be completely different. You're going to encourage them, thank them, move them through the 18 steps, make sure they're connecting with their coaches and so on, but you're not going to offer the product to them anymore. They've already bought in. Now let the coaches do the work, but your emails are going to encourage them. But if you keep them on your old list and you're still sending them follow-ups, because let's say they bought at email number 3 and you have 18 emails total, you have 15 to go, they're going to get upset if you keep sending them emails to buy. They're realizing that, hey, I'm just a number to you because you're not paying attention that I already bought. So make sure that you do that. You take them off of one list and you put them on to your buyer's list, okay? All right, Michael sent an email today that included a swipe copy. What is that and how to use it? If it's a swipe copy, then you just copy the part that is below where it says swipe copy. You can copy that and broadcast it out. If he's sending out a swipe copy, it's most likely you can broadcast out to your list. So that's what it's used for, Rena. So hopefully that helps you. All right, great. Good and helpful. Okay. Great tip, but makes over and over again. Yeah. All right, good. All right, so guys, we are basically done with this here. The last thing I do want to talk to you about, because I know some of you don't have access to a digital altitude coach. So what we have done is we actually have created, because to get the one-on-one coaching, it's actually very expensive. It starts at $500 an hour. I'm trying to get them to reduce that, but they haven't yet. So we created some group traffic coaching calls. They are set up with now 5 participants maximum, although I've had several students that have signed up for these and have had literally one-on-one calls, because not a lot of people are doing it yet. So we set aside specific times during the week for these paid group calls, and if one person shows up, we continue on with the call. We don't have to have a group. It's just designed it could be up to 5 people. But this goes over a lot of the questions your guys are asking here, but you get to deal with a traffic coach on more of an intimate level so that they can really be answering your questions. They're hour-long calls. They're based on 3 one-hour-long calls. You're buying the package for $250. If you are interested, I will be also, if you email me, I will send you out the information, but I'm putting the link here in the chat area and also in the question area. You can go and take a look at that further. If you do end up buying one of these, please just email me also, because I'm the traffic coach manager, so I'm the one that assigns you to the traffic coach that will be doing these coaching or group calls. We try to break you down into areas that at least you can attend them. They're the right time zones for you to be able to attend. So we have those. I've also compiled the team. I want you to meet the team real quick. Obviously, there's myself. The next team member I have is Otis and Evelyn Jackson. They're here in the United States. They're a dynamic duo. Otis has been teaching as an instructor for years and years. Evelyn has worked in the corporate world and instructed a lot of people together. They have like 32 years of training experience. They're a phenomenal team. They're very good at what they do. I have hand-selected these people to be on my team of traffic coaches. So I would not pick people that I did not trust and felt that they worked well with students and got their students' businesses up and rolling. So I also have Jay Andrada. I've known him for several years now. Again, corporate America. Also, he's been online for numerous years and has worked with, and I think he's well over 600 students now easily. But he's been coaching for quite a while. He's located out in the Philippines, so he handles a lot of, especially with the group calls, he handles a lot of the Asian market and of like Australia, New Zealand, and so on, because his time zone fits a little bit better than some of the ones in the U.S. And then our other team member here is Vanessa Dunford. She's our youngest team member, and she's been doing this for a while now. She's owned her own businesses. She is incredibly talented in what she does. She is what I would consider the queen of Bing ads. So if you're definitely interested in Bing ads, she's the one to talk to. We all have our kind of specialties. We can teach multiple things, but we all have our own specialties as well. So mine is Facebook. That's where I live. But Vanessa is in the UK, so she handles a lot of our European clients and so on, at least with the group calls and stuff. So that's our team there. Again, we do have those coaching packages that are available. If you want more information about them, please email me. And again, I'm going to put my email address in here again. It's rarmstrong@digitalaltitude.co. That's rarmstrong@digitalaltitude.co. And just send me an email, ask for the recordings for Thursday night's webinar, and if you want any past recordings, just ask for those as well. I will give you out that information, and I have just sent that in the chat and the question area, so you guys can email me and get information. So let's see here. Just finish up the last couple questions. All right, good. All right, you're welcome, Ed. I'm glad you liked the content. Okay, Ree, I'm glad you liked the content. All right, Monica, great. All right, Dan, I thank you very much. I try to be interesting. Ask my wife. She doesn't think I'm as interesting, but 32 years of marriage will do that, I guess. Let's see here. So, Ree, you're welcome. Thank you, and thank you for joining me on every one of my webinars. You are a perpetual student, but you learn a lot and you implement. That's the nice thing about it. So, all right, good. So, Gary, you're welcome. Let's see here. All right, great. So, you guys send me an email. And again, maybe by tomorrow morning that I send you out these recordings, I got to get this recording downloaded and so on, and then re-upload it again so I can send you out the information. So, please don't email support. Just copy down my email address, rarmstrong@digitalaltitude.co. Oh, shoot, you know what, guys? I put it in wrong. I put it in, I think the spell check did it. It's rarmstrong@digitalaltitude.co, not com. So it's not com. It's digitalaltitude.co. So it's .co, not com. Okay? And everybody always types in the .com. I know even I do, so it's hard to get used to. So I'm going to put this in again, so it's at the CO. Okay, so hopefully that you guys get that. All right, great, Teresa. I'm glad we were able to help you, and I hope to see you guys on the next webinar. I don't know yet what the content is, but we'll come up with something. If you're interested in content, don't hesitate to email me also and say, hey, I'd love to learn about this, so I can kind of start setting up a schedule as to what we're going to start teaching, okay? So, all right, great, thank you. All right, Bonnie, thank you very much. And Ree, good night. I know it's getting late for you guys. Gustav, or Gustavo, all right, thank you very much. And thank you for sending out an email. So it's .co. So remember, guys, it's .co, okay? All right, great. All right, pixels. I talk about pixels in one of the other webinars. So sorry, we just literally run out of time. We've gone 2 hours on this webinar. So you're welcome. All right. Ray or Ree, you can message me in Skype, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about pixels. Ask me your question there, and I can get an answer for you. All right, guys, it is the end of our webinar, and I am It's 8 o'clock my time, so I haven't even had dinner yet. I'm going to go hit dinner, and I am done for the day. So you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful evening, wherever you're at in the world, and hopefully you found this valuable. Please email me, and I will get the recording to you. And any other recordings, just request them. We'll get them out to you. So you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you on the next webinar. Thank you.